Do you believe that the entire circulatory system of the global economy is being strangled by a channel so narrow it's almost invisible on the map? Welcome to the Strait of Hormuz. When regional tensions escalate in a heartbeat, the survival of the global energy network is instantly put on the scale. This isn't just a stretch of water, it's the eye of the storm of global attention. Looking across to the Americas, humans once boldly sliced through the continent to create the Panama Canal. So why, when we are life and death dependent on this narrow choke point, hasn't a superpower stepped up to plan a backup route? A billion-dollar question. The truth is, this project is much harder than simply moving dirt. Geopolitical stakes have shackled every ambition here. Mother Nature and history have woven an invisibly yet impenetrable web around this shipping lane. For giants controlling the largest liquid energy reserves on the planet, every barrel extracted here is the heartbeat sustaining the world's industrial engine. But ironically, the Persian Gulf is a near-perfect trap. While the Gulf of Mexico generously opens into the vast ocean, everything here leads to a single, claustrophobic funnel. Any supertanker carrying enough oil to light up a nation must humbly navigate this choke point, known as Hormuz, to reach the open sea. The rules of the game here: zero margin for error. The lanes are carved into rigid, invisible borders. The powers that be don't need to block the entire sea. They only need to threaten the navigation lane to bring the world to its knees. And just like that, the market reels. The global economy trembles, all because of a sneeze in this fragile dory. This gridlock makes us crave an exit, a detour. History has proven humanity doesn't bow to geography. Looking back, before the shortcuts, sailors gambled their lives, circling the dark continent. The Cape of Good Hope was a graveyard for countless ships, swallowed by monstrous seas and brutal risks, until the Suez Canal, a masterpiece connecting to seas, saving weeks of precarious voyage, and even today, it tirelessly shoulders the burden of global trade. That, alongside unlocking the Americas via Panama. So, if engineering miracles have saved the world before, what is actually stopping us from rescuing Hormuz? Historically, whenever geography obstructs the path of profit, humanity moves mountains, literally. So, with the life-or-death allure of Hormuz, why haven't the elites just engineered a way around it? It's time for a bold, new strategy. But don't look at Suez as a blueprint. The challenge here isn't just about digging holes in the sand. The reality of the Middle East is far more complex. Copying past miracles here would be absolute madness. Panama and Suez succeeded because they followed a golden rule: connect the shortest distance between two seas. But Mother Nature seems to have played a cruel joke on the Persian Gulf. Nature turned this place into a perfectly sealed pouch. The only way out. Still, the bottleneck of Hormuz, trying to go north. The Caspian Sea is a dead end, landlocked and isolated. Digging north through the rugged Iranian mountains? Impossible. What about the west? Straight to the Mediterranean? Good luck. You'd have to tunnel through Iraq, Jordan, Syria. Who has the funds, and who could possibly guarantee the safety of such a path? Back in 2015, a crazy idea was tabled. Dig a monumental canal across the Arabian Peninsula. A 1,000-kilometer water highway, costing hundreds of billions of dollars, carving through the desert. It carried the weight of complex, multinational treaties. The result, the dream was shelved. It remains nothing more than a ghost on a piece of paper, too ambitious to ever see the light of day. Geographic limitations block every exit. Every alternative feels like reaching for the stars. But, hidden on the map, the maritime elite finally found a blind spot. A single point where hope flickers. The Musandam Peninsula, a narrow strip of land reaching into the throat of Hormuz, shared by the UAE and Oman. This rugged, mountainous terrain is the key. Just slice it open, and you've got your bypass. We'd be free of Hormuz. The engineering logic would perfectly mirror how humanity liberated the Suez and Panama channels. But here is the gotcha. Unlike the soft sands of Suez, you're greeted here by solid, jagged rock face plunging into the sea, with peaks soaring over 6,000 feet high. With a scarce population and a hostile landscape, you aren't just moving sand. You're fighting solid stone. You can't just draw a straight line with a ruler. You have to reshape the mountain itself. The water would have to twist and turn along the geological fault lines. And let me tell you, a crooked canal carved through solid mountain. That's only the prologue to a financial nightmare. But let's put the daydreaming aside for a second and look at the invoice. Carving a canal through solid, ancient rock, that's going to turn the project into the world's greatest money-burning machine. The initial cost is astronomical, and the sky-high maintenance fees, that's the real killer. While the Suez Canal was gifted a flat, forgiving landscape, Musandam is a topographical nightmare. The rugged terrain forces engineers to propose complex lock systems just to haul these steel giants over the mountains. It's not a shortcut, it's a vertical climb. And locks need massive amounts of water to function. But you're building this in one of the most parched, thirstiest regions on Earth. The logic doesn't hold water So, no matter how shiny the blueprints look, the reality is a dead end. The dream remains locked in the archives. But here's the bitterest plot twist of all. Even if by some miracle this giant canal were finished, it sits right in the shadow of the old Hormuz bottleneck. The same security threats that plagued the original strait would haunt the new one. It doesn't solve the crisis. It just creates a second, more expensive target. History is just looping. A flicker of regional tension, a tiny spark, that's all it takes to paralyze this multi-billion-dollar bypass. Instead of an exit strategy, we'd just be throwing good money after bad to build a second congestion point. So, why abandon the ships and pump oil through massive pipelines instead? Well, the Arab giants already have a network snaking underground, stretching all the way to the Red Sea. But physics is a stubborn wall. Even at peak capacity, a pipeline can barely move a fraction of what a daily tanker convoy carries. Hormuz handles hundreds of giants every single day. Pipelines will always be the backup act, expensive, static, and ultimately insufficient. The dominance of Hormuz isn't just luck. It's an impenetrable fortress forged by nature itself. It is the one and only lifeline that the global economy is shackled to. It is near impossible to replace. Hormuz isn't just a stretch of water. It's the defining nexus of power and energy. No matter how advanced our engineering becomes, the rules remain unchanged. A single ripple here, and the entire world tremors. As long as the planet remains thirsty for energy, our fate will always be tied to the Persian Gulf.